Hi everybody, it's Richard here, the WatchGecko YouTube channel, and today we're going to talk about Octopod. Now, we can't talk about Octopod without ZULUDIVER, so we're lucky today to have with us Andy, who is the head of the ZULUDIVER brand development team. Hi Andy.
Hi Richard.
Well, Octopod, correct me if I'm wrong, it is the best-selling strap ZULUDIVER have now?
At the moment, yes, it's doing really well.
So, I mean, it's been such a success. Can you give us, please, some kind of background as to how the strap came to be?
We wanted to develop a strap that was along the lines of a NATO military style strap, but also had the flexibility of being able to be removed quickly and safely without the fear of your watch dropping onto the ground. So the initial development that I'd come up with was to use one of our metal deployant buckles and fit some nylon, elasticated nylon material to our metal buckle. So this was the initial concept. So this is the original one that I'd put together using super glue and some spring bars to attach it to the buckle. After discussing it with the team, we felt that there was an opportunity to develop something along these lines. And so we took inspiration from the folding style buckle and also another buckle that we used to use on a single pass strap that we used to sell, because this is a lot more lighter in weight than our standard deployant buckle. And so in working with a factory, we managed to develop a design and they prototyped it, and we ended up coming up with what we now call the Octopod Buckle. We do get questions about why do we call it Octopod? The reason for the name is we weave the material up and down on each side 4 times, so 8 times. And we felt that the name Octopod worked quite well, and it was a nice name for it, so that's the name that we chose. So we got some prototypes developed, and then we obviously needed to, before we went into mass production, we wanted to do some testing, and that's where we approached somebody to take it out into the wild to do some testing. And
the first person who tested it was me, wasn't it?
It was you, Richard. So you were our guinea pig.
I was the guinea pig because we actually have video of this. It was unbranded, and it was almost one of your homemade prototype things.
Right. Yeah.
And I was wearing it on a bitterly cold day up in the Dales, and I'd been wearing my watch on top of my glove, and I was a bit concerned about the watch being exposed to this terrible temperatures. So I simply popped the watch back onto my wrist.
Okay. And
of course it sucked into the size of my wrist. And I remember trying to then send you a WhatsApp video to say, hey, guess what's happened? But I mean, as Andy said, that was not a proper test. So what we did was, one of our guest authors that you've probably seen, you've seen the features of, is Don Russell. Don is our resident explorer / treasure hunter / diver, who writes for the magazine. So we gave it was a production model to Don.
The one that we gave Dom, it was a pre-production model to do some testing on. So we did a limited number of pre-production samples that we then passed to Don. Okay.
I mean, when we gave Don the strap, the remit was to take it into water with a dive watch and actually test it thoroughly, because that was something we just couldn't do. And Don found a characteristic with the strap, which he then led him to make the statement that it was the best dive strap he had used. And that was because when you dive to a certain depth, if you're in a particular type of wetsuit, the wetsuit contracts as you get deeper and deeper and the pressure gets greater and greater. Now, what if you're using a rubber strap or a military nylon strap or any other, even a metal bracelet on a dive watch, that obviously doesn't contract as you dive. And he has had a real scenario, he told me, where he found his Rolex Sea Dweller spiraling down his wrist, which he just caught with his thumb because everything had contracted so much. Of course, with the Octopod, that problem was eliminated because the strap compressed as his suit compressed. Then when he surfaced again and the suit starts to expand, obviously the opposite happens. Mm-hmm. Now, Don was telling me just the other day when I met him, he uses a particular gadget called a cuff dump, which releases the pressure inside his suit. And it's positioned roughly here on the sleeve. Again, that means, because you don't want to block that from functioning, you have to wear your watch over the wrist cuff area of your glove, which is going to, again, expand and contract depending on how you're diving. So on that basis, he said it is an outstanding strap. And he said so in numerous reviews. In fact, he's done a great review that's on the ZULUDIVER website, which you can go and read. Also, he commented on the material, the 316L marine grade steel. Again, he said with all the rest of his dive kit, he hosed it down, not a spot of rust, no sign of corrosion on the buckle either. So he has very openly said, and we love Don's writing, it is as good as you can get.
That was really pleased to hear that from Don. We also did our own testing in the office. I remember when we first received the original prototypes of the strap, I was wearing it around the office here. And it was a really warm day. As people know, your wrist size does change during the day. Now, I normally wear a standard military NATO style nylon strap, but I was testing out the elasticated Octopod system. And normally I'm in between holes, but this was really great because as the day got warmer, the elasticated material just stayed a consistent strength on my wrist, so I wasn't having to adjust the strap as I would normally with a military style strap. So that's from an office environment, that was great. So we were basically finding out all these unique selling points for a system that we developed and come up with.
Yeah, there was one other test that we did, which I briefly mentioned to Andy off camera because it was brand new, where somebody did a 16K run with the Octopod on their watch. That's a long run, and if the strap isn't fitting you right, the watch is constantly bouncing around when you're running. And A, it's uncomfortable, and B, if it's an automatic watch, it can actually seriously affect the regulation of it, to the point that the runner in question commented that on a 10K, 12K run, their watch had lost up to 30 seconds. So whilst that doesn't necessarily sound catastrophic, it does show you how much it's actually affecting the internal components of the watch. But since the runner's transitioned to the Octopod, the problem's gone away as well.
Okay.
And it's something to do with it being held snug to your body and moving in unison with the body, like synced with it. So, I mean, it's the benefits of the Octopod just keep coming out as it evolves, and we give it to more and more people to test. One of the questions we get asked a lot on the magazine and in the ZULUDIVER blog is, how do you fasten the Octopod? So we thought the best thing to do was just to show you now that we've got Andy here. Andy, can you just take us through slowly how you fasten the buckle to the strap?
Yes, no problem. So it can seem a bit daunting when you initially get the system, but I'll show you the quick and easy way of fitting a strap. If you pass it through the front aperture of the buckle to start off with and thread as much material as you dare through the actual buckle. That's part of the trick. And then passing it back at the back of the buckle, but leaving a lot of material still protruding out the top of the buckle. What that does is it enables you to then weave it through the center of the buckle section there, and enables you to get your fingers in to then pass it through the back of the system.
So the secret is to give yourself enough room to work in.
Yes, that's right. So what we've had some comments and questions from customers. The bars in the actual buckle are spring bars on little rolling spring bars, and we have noticed that people have been removing the spring bars to attach the material. That is a way of doing it, but we found this a lot easier to do. So I'll just show you one more time. So passing it through the front section there, as much material as you can, and then the back section through there, keeping a big loop of material, and through the middle section, which enables you enough space to get your fingers in and then pass it through the back.
Perfect.
And then we would fit it to your watch by just removing the spring bars and attaching it to your watch.
We're both wearing them, and I've got the Octopod on my Tudor Black Bay here at the moment, which is quite a heavy watch. And we've got, for example, here on one of the Gakota Sea Hunters, they're with the watch dangling. I would have thought that would be less maneuverable. It must be easier to put it onto the buckle as you've done it, and then simply just bolt the watch to the strap, I would think.
Yeah.
Question I asked you earlier off camera. What's the process for buying? Can you buy the complete set? Do you have to buy it in pieces? Can you buy subsequent straps then afterwards?
You can buy the buckles individually, and then you can select your different style of colours and materials. So we've got elastic materials, which was the original design for the Octopod system, but we've now extended it to the Hydro Rib nylon material that we also do in the military NATO style straps. We have been experimenting with a leather style version as well. So we're going to be launching these soon in the near future. We're also working on version 2 of Octopod. So some of the comments talk about the buckle being quite large, but you'd be very surprised when you're actually wearing it that it doesn't feel very large. No. It also counterbalances the weight of the watch, but in view of that, we have been able to reduce the size of the buckle. So we've got version 2 coming out very soon. We've got some new finishes of the buckle coming out. So we've got a sandblasted finish that's coming soon, and also some different plated finishes. So we've got a gold version and a rose gold again coming soon.
It's probably worth as well mentioning the really distinct curve on the buckle.
Yeah, we've
because
designed
that really does sit well, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, we were conscious that we wanted it to fit on your wrist really nicely. So we've made that curve suit your standard wrist size.
I can buy a tin with all of these in it, or I can buy the buckle, or I can buy the. So if let's just say I bought the buckle, can I then buy the straps independently?
Yes, no, that you can buy all the parts individually, or you can buy it as the set. So the set comes with 5 different colour options that we have available on the website at the moment. And
is there different tins with different colour options?
Yes, we do have,
because there's an awful lot of straps here.
There is, and we keep getting requests for some different colour options. Again, we are working on some more colour options, which will be available on the website soon. So you can either have a pre-made set in a tin, or you can actually design your own set and order that.
One thing to mention as well is that our tester Don has been requested to do a follow-up review of his strap. We thought, that always the most interesting automotive reviews are the 10,000 mile reviews of a car, because you can really see what the problems are then. So Don's agreed to do another one now, having dived multiple times with the strap, take photos of the same one. So that'll be a nice follow-up to the original one, which we can put a link up to here so you can read that. And I think that's everything you could ever want to know about Octopod.
Great.
Thank you very much, Andy. And thank you for joining us for this. Go over to the ZULUDIVER website to look at the Octopod range. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thank you very much.